Doors had a good sanding now. All the paint's come off, the majority of the paint anyway. There's a few little bits which aren't really going to be too much of a problem. I've gone over the door with some panel wipe. I've also had to use some bits of brake and clutch cleaner just to get rid of a couple of oily stains that from when I cleaned the inside of the door handle area before. Just some of the oil came out, crept out, and I've had to use the brake cleaner anyway. So now it's ready for filling. Just need to mix up some body filler, go over any of the low spots. It's mainly the troublesome areas along the bottom of the door here, where the aluminium has been touching the mild steel channel at the back there, the reinforcement channel, and where the two metals have been touching, it has caused some corrosion activity in the aluminium. And consequently it bubbles through to the outside, and now it's all pitted on the surface there, as you can see. So there's a little bit of evidence there from the pitting. So I will need to fill all this area along the bottom, and then there is a few little dents and dings located around the rest of the surface of the door. So my next step is to mix some filler, add it to these little pockets and dents, sand it back, and then it will be a case of 2 coats of etch primer all over the door, because it is generally mainly back to the bare aluminium. Better safe than sorry with the etch primer. A couple of coats of that, and then the high build undercoat stroke primer before the final coats of the mid grey. Okay, so we'll get to work. The doors had loads of filler. I've probably gone over it 4 or 5 times to ensure best, most level surface I can get, but bearing in mind it is 50 odd years old, 51 years old, or 50 years old. So there are dents, there are dings, and with any Land Rover really, there's lots of dents and dings across the panel work. So best I can get it really. I'm just going to go over any of the fine hairline scratches and whatnot with this stuff here. I'll just give it another clean with the panel wipe, make sure I've got all the dust. Stuff's quite easy to apply really. There's no mixing it with a hardener agent. You just squeeze it out of the tube like toothpaste, add it to your spreader here, and then just go over and feel any steps or any low spots, and have a look, see if you can see any hairline issues or any cracks or anything like that. Oh, there's something there. Go with that one. Good thing about this, there's no rush to use it before it sets, like with the body filler. It has the usual setting time, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that. And then the next stage after I've sanded this down with some 600, the next stage will be to prime with the etch primer. Do the whole door. Seems though most of it's bare metal now. Do the whole door. Go over that with 600 again, very, very lightly, and then give it 2 coats of primer. After wiping the panel with some panel wipe to remove any of the grease, etc. Door's been filled, it's all prepped. It's now ready for etch priming. So give the can a good shake. It says to shake the can 2 minutes. Okay. I am going to do the whole door because it's virtually the whole door that's back to the bare metal, so plus it will give it an extra bit of protection and help the next coat of primer stick. I think that will do for the first coat. A bit more underneath there. So that's the first coat. So I'll come back. It's just like a mist coat. I will come back in 10 minutes and just go over that again until the door's completely white with the etch primer. So we've had 2 coats of primer now. I'm just going to smoothen it down, flatten it with some 600 wet paper, and then I'll be able to give it the first coat of the enamel. I'll give that 24 hours before flattening again and then going over for the second coat. So we use the brush to get all the fiddly parts out the way. Yeah, I'm doing the back of the door here as well, where the aluminium sheet folds round. I'm doing that at the same time as doing the front. The inside of the door hasn't been top coated yet, however it has been filled and primed and gone through all those stages. But what we've done here today is we are going across the door doing one section at a time, and each section has been about 8 inches at a time. I did have the camera on, which I thought was recording this, but unfortunately it goes to default on this app I use, the Smart Mic app. The default setting is to do a selfie, so it's been recording the back of my workshop instead of what I wanted it to record, which is me painting the door. However, I'll just have to talk you through it. So I've done one section at a time, 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches, and I've used the brush, decent quality Harris brush, to do all the fiddly bits with. First of all, to do all the returns around here where the aluminium wraps around, done all that with the brush, and then I've just given an even amount of paint, an even amount. Make sure it's all covered, make sure the surface area is covered first of all, and then go over it with the roller to blend it all in, to even it all out. So over here, for example, I'm just making sure now that I've got the paint all over the areas that it needs to be, and then I will go one complete swoop like that, one full range of motion there like this. And if you use the roller, you've got the straight edge there. I would use that for the leading edge really, and go across the door like this way, leaving the beveled edge there to go over the for blending in, I suppose you could say. I'll just do this side here, make sure the edge is done. Did that edge before, a bit of a run there. So it gives you a good opportunity. The paint takes, this enamel paint takes 24 hours really before it's ready to give a second coat. So it does take a while to go off properly, which means that you have a bit of time. You probably have 20 minutes just to make sure that there aren't any runs anywhere. There's one there. This will be a nice finish when it's done. I've spent ages making sure that the panel's all straight, and as I have said previously, it's not going to be perfect. You know, it's 50 years old. Land Rovers predominantly, you can see all the buckles in there just because of the way the structure is with the channel sections and the way the aluminium isn't supported enough, I suppose, and it's quite thin sheets, so it does wave and dent and whatnot. But however, I have done my best at getting all the dents out, all the car part things and dents and whatnot. And if you look along the side there, it's very hard to see any dents, but the finish of this enamel paint is brilliant. You can't tell this is only the first coat. Very hard to see any lines, any issues. At the moment, I don't know if you can see this, but over here there are some bubbles, but that's because that was the last area to do. I'll just take the camera off the tripod now. We'll just have a look. It gives a very good finish, and it's so easy to do. I would highly recommend you doing this coach enamel, using coach enamel, and the whole. I mean, it saved thousands and thousands of pounds in not taking the Land Rover to a workshop or to a body shop to be painted. Do this yourself. You have the sense of achievement, and it does have the wow factor, I think. I mean, people have seen it and are very surprised when I tell them I've painted it by hand with a brush and a roller. So as I say, this will take 24 hours to dry before I come back into the garage. Give it a very light sand with some I'll probably use 600 again, wet. Give it a light sand, make it all smooth, and then give it the second coat with the enamel. Second coat tomorrow. Give it a second coat tomorrow. The day after, I will put the hinges on. I need to paint these in a second. Put the hinges on, attach the door to the Land Rover, and then I can paint the inside whilst it's mounted onto the side of the Land Rover. Anyway, I'm going to empty the paint back into the tub via a filter, and then with the leftover, the dregs, I'll paint these hinges. Okay. So just after one coat, you can see the gloss, you can see the shiny finish in there. It does need a second coat, as I have said, but this is 18 hours later after the first coat. What I am going to do now, slight change of plan, is I am going to turn the door around and paint the inside. The inside has been prepped, it's all ready for the top coat, so I am going to do that now, and then it just reduces the amount of 24-hour gaps in between each coat. So I'm going to do the inside now, and then I'll be able to do the second coat on the outside later on this evening.